Welcome back to the Wolfe Pit and another episode of What Are We Eating? Everyone loves good old-fashioned, rib-sticking, and belly-warming comfort food just like Mom and Grandma made. But we don't always have the time and our busy everyday schedules to make homemade food that takes time to make. That's when we head down the frozen or canned food aisle in the grocery store and pick up something quick, convenient, and more than likely, highly processed and full of sodium. So for today's simple, convenient, and hopefully rib-sticking and belly-warming comfort food, I found a can of Sweet Sue's chicken and dumplings. It doesn't get much more comforting than chicken and dumplings, does it? I've obviously made a great choice because right there on the can it says America's favorite, made from scratch. So if America loves it, it's gotta be good, right? And it's made from scratch, so it'll be just like homemade, right? And here's a little reassurance on the side of the can from Sweet Sue. You can always count on delicious, home-style recipes from the kitchens of Sweet Sue. Our recipes use only the finest ingredients to guarantee goodness for your family every time. And they even give you a free Sweet Sue recipe on the side of the can on how to turn your average chicken and dumplings into chicken and dumplings deluxe. From the pictures, verbiage, and free recipe on the can, I'm starting to feel really good about this product. But before we open up this delicious meal, we need to go over the ingredients and the nutrition info to ensure it's as wholesome as advertised. After reading through the ingredients, expecting to find something bad or excessive, I couldn't. I couldn't even find any hidden MSG, but I may have missed something. So if I did, please let me know in the comments. I'm not crazy about artificial colors being in chicken and dumplings, but if that's the worst thing in here, I guess we can live with it. At least for a while, or until we turn the color of an Oompa Loompa, or even worse, we fall apart like a Sweet Sue's whole chicken in a can. Doesn't that look delicious? And now for my favorite part of these videos, the nutrition facts. There's 2.5 1-cup servings per container. Who in their right mind would only eat 1 cup of chicken and dumplings? I know most people, including myself, would eat this whole can and probably want more, if it's any good. If you only eat 1 serving, it's 190 calories, and 45 of those calories are from fat. But realistically, we're going to eat the whole can, and that would be 475 calories, 112.5 of those calories would be from fat. So 475 calories is not an excessive amount of calories for one meal. At least I don't think it is, but maybe that's why I need to lose a few pounds. The total fat, saturated fat, and cholesterol not bad per serving, or even for the whole can. And the same goes for the total carbohydrates, unless you're on a low-carb diet. The fiber's okay, and the protein is really good at 14 grams per serving, or 35 grams for the whole can. But then, we always save the best for last, or in this case, the worst for last. There's 1,040 milligrams of sodium per serving. That's almost half of your daily allowance of sodium. But even worse, if you eat like a normal person, that's 2,600 milligrams of sodium for the whole can, or over 107% of your daily allowance of sodium. Now I know moms and grandmas' chicken and dumplings were probably not the healthiest thing in the world to eat, but I can guarantee you they had less sodium in them. One last thing before we open the can. It has a pretty long shelf life, so it makes for a good food storage item. Here's what it looks like when you open the can. Right now, it looks nothing like what I expected. It looks like a big wet loaf of bread. And it's pretty firm and feels like it's really packed in there. So let's pour it in a bowl and see what it looks like. I kind of expected it to come out of the can a little bit easier and a little more soupy, but it actually had to work to get it out. And then it all popped out at once, and I really thought there'd be a little bit more broth in it. The lack of broth and tiny little hideous pieces of typical processed canned food chicken was disappointing right off the bat. It's the same typical looking chicken you find in condensed chicken noodle soup that is dry and flavorless. And you can definitely tell where their profit is, the dumplings. There's so many of them in here, they ought to rename it to Dumplings and Chicken. So I gave it a good mix and heated according to the directions on the can for about 3 to 3.5 minutes. After heating in the microwave for a little over 3 minutes, it was time for a taste, and by now, my expectations were very low. So I gave it a good mix before tasting, and I couldn't help but to chuckle the whole time at the amount of dumplings. Don't get me wrong, I really love a lot of dumplings, but there's no balance here. It's just pretty much all dumplings. To me, it needs more chicken, more broth, and some vegetables. I personally like my chicken and dumplings with a lot of chicken, a lot of dumplings, a lot of broth, peas, carrots, celery, and some sage. That's just my own personal preference for hearty chicken and dumplings. After the first bite, I was really shocked at the lack of flavor. Actually, lack of flavor is the wrong way to explain it. No flavor is a better way. The texture and flavor of the chicken was exactly like I expected, dry and flavorless. The dumplings were soggy, mushy, and flavorless as well. But with the amount of sodium in it, I really expected it to be salty, but it actually needed more salt for flavor. But I was afraid to add it because I did not want my heart to explode. But I did add some black pepper. But black pepper is not a miracle worker and can only do so much. It's foods like this that make big restaurants like Cracker Barrel so popular. Some people will eat this at home and think this is what chicken and dumplings is supposed to taste like. Then they go to Cracker Barrel, order chicken and dumplings, and they're better than the ones they eat at home in a can, so they gotta rave about them and say they're the best chicken and dumplings ever. And then the news snowballs, and then there's a line waiting to eat subpar chicken and dumplings at Cracker Barrel every night. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you do not give this a try. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.